We were not even able to speak about the 7 gates of tefillah, so we pushed it for this week. So this week we're going to start. We're not going to finish this week. So maybe we're going to start just the first one. And then B'ezrat Hashem, in the upcoming weeks, we're going to finish all 7 gates of tefillah. Now, but what is this concept of the 7 gates of tefillah? So the Zohar Kadosh teaches us, Abotai, that in Shamayim, all our prayers that a person wants to reach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, any desire that a person wants to reach to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, anything, sort of connection that a person wants, it must go through the 7 gates. Now these 7 gates are not just gates of prayer, but like we said, gates of desire. What does that mean? The Zohar Kadosh says that every single gate is actually responsible of a different act. So any good that a person receives also needs to come from those 7 gates. So for example, I'm not going to get into all detail, but the 4th gate, Refuah, comes from the 4th, and we're going to mention the names and how can one open that gate and what's the keys to that gate, and we're going to explain. So every single gate is actually responsible of a different desire, of a different place and a different aspect of somebody's life, whether if it's zivug, whether if it's panasa, whether if it's refuah, whether if it's simcha. All the shefa, all the bracha that comes from Marom, comes from Shamayim, must go through those 7 gates, including prayers. Now the importance of really understanding the 7 gates, because if you understand how to get and to open those gates, you can also know how to really, manually get to a point where you can enhance places in your life and bring down a specific place in your life, ben bracha. So that is what B'ezrat Hashem, this teaching of the 7 gates are. It's not just gates of prayers, but it's actually the way we bring down bracha, the way we bring down light down to our lives. The better we are able to understand that, the more we will be able to succeed. Now, these 7 gates are not like what we can imagine, a big shah, a big wall with 7 gates inside, on the outside of the wall. These 7 gates are actually called echalot. What are echalot? What's the translation for echalot in English? It's like echal HaKodesh. Ma? Holes? Holes. Okay, holes. Holes. Are you sure? Corridors. Hallway. It's gates, hallways, pathways, doors, whatever you want. You can think about it, and that's what it is. So it's everything. So it's not like what we said, a wall with their 7 gates where you could say, I'm going to open up this one today, I'm going to try to get to this one. It's not like that. It's a gate within a gate within a gate. So like what he said, a hall, a room, a door. It's a door within a door within a door. Meaning to get to the 2nd door, what you need to pass? You need to pass the 1st door. And that is the order of the echalot. The 1st gate, and this is the one that we mentioned in the previous shiurim, but now we're only going to start to truly understand, is Echal Lavenet Safir. The gate of Lavenet Safir. Now, why is the order, Abotai, so important? Why is the understanding of the order and how we put every act of every single gate in place? And I'll explain. Every single gate that exists, like there is in this world, what exists inside a gate? A key. So every single gate has, in its own way, a key. What is this key? This key is essentially the traits of that echal, of that gate. That every single gate has different aspects, that those different aspects and those different acts are what caused the gate to be opened. So essentially, a key. What are those keys? Those keys are actually different sefirot. That the different sefirot, by taking a sefirah, acting in its specific path, in its specific way, is essentially opening up that specific key. Make sense? An act connects to a sefirah opens up the gate. Very simple. Now the reason for the order being very important is because the order is how we know to climb, or chas v'shalom, to go down. Why is that? So something about that we explained in Zohar Kadosh many times, and that is the concept of ze, lumat ze, bara, elokim. What does that mean? It means when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, he created everything with what? With balance. That everything has a good, a positive, of light, and on the other side, the exact amount of darkness, of bad, of negativity, that everything must be done in what? In a balance. To give a few examples, for every tzaddik, there is a rasha. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the tree of life, right beside it, what did he create? Tree of knowledge. That for every drop of good that exists in the world, there exists a little bit of bad. Many times we mentioned that there are different places in Shamayim that a person can get to. To every identical height that you can go, you can also go to a low. So if there are 7 gates of desire, 7 gates of bracha, 7 gates of prayer, what exists? 7 gates of impurity. Always remember, it's like a line. You put the 7 layers. It's like a building that has 7 floors going up. And for each floor that goes up, it has a floor going down. Now, why is the order so important? Because like we said, the order helps us climb. Because in order to go to the 2nd gate, what do you have to do? You have to not open the first. And if you know how to open the first, you'll get to the 2nd. If you know how to get to the 2nd, you get to the 3rd. But in that same very way, that knowing the order allows us to climb up, also knowing the order allows us to avoid going down. Because Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, his job is to do what? His job is to do his best to make sure that we go down the bad path. The bad path could be with Torah and mitzvot. The bad path could be with the way we feel, whether if it's happiness, confidence, lack of fear. Yetzer Hara wants always to bring a person down to the point where he's going to be where? As negative as possible. He always tries to bring a person down to a point where he lost his light. He lost all his confidence. He lost all his enthusiasm. He lost all his hope. So knowing that order also can allow us to prevent from Yetzer Hara dragging us down. And the more Be'ezrat Hashem we're going to see that we learn gate by gate, you'll see how if you are able to conquer the first gate, you'll never get to the 2nd gate. In the sense that if you're able to strengthen one aspect, and we're going to get into them, you'll see that automatically the 2nd one is already solved. It's already strengthened. So it's really a concept. If you go one by one, step by step, a person can really get to a point where in his head, in his neshama, in his heart, he's complete. He feels at peace with himself. He feels whole. And that is something that is very, very important. And that is why I want Be'ezrat Hashem really to take shiur by shiur and try to explain it with a shiur. This is already a subject. We've been pushing for a long time. A lot of people have been asking for the 7 gates. So Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to do all our effort to really explain it well. And I encourage everyone to put the main points. Because the more we put the main points in line, you'll see that if you do one by one strengthens the 2nd, the 2nd strengthens the 3rd, and the 3rd strengthens the 4th, and the person can completely heal himself and exit all the negative 7 gates and enter into what? And to enter into the positive gates of bracha and of shefa. And that Rabota is actually like a very simple thing. We said like building a building. If we start from the first, from Levenet Safir, and we do the first one, Levenet Safir, in a strong way, in a clean way, in a way that is done well, you can build the 2nd. If you build the 2nd, you can build the 3rd. If you build the 3rd, you can build the 4th. Now, Levenet Safir is especially, the first one now we're going to speak about, important. Because Levenet Safir is the only gate, it's the only shah where a person's prayers, desires, can be completely kicked out from existence. Why? So whoever remembers, whoever was with us from the beginning, know that we gave a shiur one time about what our prayers need to go through in order to reach to Hashem. We said there that whenever a person prays, his prayer goes from wherever they are, in our case Los Angeles, to where? To Ma'arat HaMachpelah. To the Ma'arat HaMachpelah, English.
Cave of the Patriots.
Huh?
The cave of the Patriots.
The cave of the Patriots. Go straight to Ma'arat HaMachpelah. When the prayers reach Ma'arat HaMachpelah, they go through the cave, and from the cave, they start to climb up to Shamayim. When they get up to Shamayim, they reach the first entrance into the spiritual world, into the world where HaKadosh Baruch Hu dwells inside. That first entrance is what? Levenet Safir. The first gate that now we're going to speak about. The Zohar says that on Levenet Safir, there is an angel, that his name is what?
Azrael.
Ta'ariel. That what is Ta'ariel's job? Ta'ariel's job is to take a person's prayer, and he is a judge, where he judges the prayers to see whether or not the prayer is worthy of entering or not. Now he judges it on the purity of a person. Now we're going to get into exactly what that means. The purity, how a person prayed, the intention of a person, everything that had to do with that prayer, to see whether or not that prayer is worthy of entering into a spiritual clean world. If it is worthy, what does he do? He opens the gate is open, the prayer goes through and starts to climb level by level. If it's not accepted, what happens? So the Zohar Kadosh says that angel, Ta'ariel, kicks the prayer of that man. That prayer doesn't even have the opportunity to come in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That once a person passes the gate of Leven et Safir, at least he's already in the world of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he already entered into some place. But if a person does not enter that first level, he's essentially, and I'm not trying to scare anyone, this is just unexistent and invisible in the worlds above. Because if you can't get your prayer inside that first gate, the prayers are nowhere to be found. They get kicked to float in the world. So that is why the first gate, the first level, is the most important tefillah for all of us to grab. And once we explain it, we'll understand why it's so important for all of us to do. So, like we mentioned, every single gate has a tefillah. So I'm just going to mention a few. The first gate, Leven et Safir, is unique. It's unique that it holds two sefirot. Which sefirah? It holds Yesod and Malchut. That gate essentially has two keys, where two different neshamot can open up using either or of those keys. Second gate, I'm only going to mention maybe 3 or 4. Second gate, we call it Etzem HaShamayim. Word Etzem HaShamayim, it's like the bone of the core of the sky. That the core of the sky is connected to Hod, and there's no need to remember whether if it sounds too technical or not clear. It doesn't matter, you can forget this. Till the next class, it doesn't matter. Second one is Hod. Third one is Noga. Noga connects to Gvura. Above that is Zechut. Zechut is already Tiferet, and then you can go above to the next 7 gates. Now, to go back to our first one. This is the one we're going to be speaking about today. Yesod and Malchut. What is these concepts of these two sefirot? So we know, Abotai, that what the Zohar Kadosh says, that a neshama, when it comes down to the world, it actually is built from two different places in Shamayim. So every neshama, before it comes down, is taking a piece from this place up there called Ze'er Anpin, and in another place called Nukva. Hashem takes half of a neshama from here and half of a neshama from here, and he puts them together. And that's how he forms a complete neshama. When he sends the neshama down to the world, the neshama splits again. But this time that it splits, it goes to what? To two different bodies. That essentially, those two different bodies are holding what? Two halves. Two halves of a neshama are put in two different bodies. That what is the goal of those two bodies to do? To come together, to get married, and that is what we call zivug. What is zivug? Zivug is two halves of a neshama, one that comes from Ze'er Anpin, and one comes from Nukva. When both of those halves come together, a complete neshama is formed. So what comes from where? So whoever understands Hebrew, it's very easy to remember. Ze'er Anpin, the Zayin stands for what? For Zachar. What is Zachar? Male. Nukva sounds like what? Nekeva. Female. That actually our neshama comes from two different places from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from above. That a female's neshama is not like a male's neshama because they both have different tikkunim and different purposes. What's amazing, this is already off the shiur. Sometimes what happens, sometimes the neshamot can get mixed up. And that is actually answers a beautiful answer that the Zohar Kadosh asks. And we see that every day, one of the barachot, one of the blessings that we think HaKadosh Baruch Hu is what? We say Hashem, Baruch Ata Hashem Eloheinu melech haolam, shelo asani isha. So the Zohar said, I don't understand. Why you say every day Shalal Sanisha? Why you say the bracha every single day? Okay, so you have to thank Hashem that He created you a man and not a female, or opposite, that He created you a female not a man. You have to be happy with everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you, which that is the second gate. I'm not going to get into that either. Any case, why we say every morning? Rabbi Shimon said that if we're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for Him bringing us down to the world, we should thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu once. Whether it's in the Brit Milah, or it's in the Bar Mitzvah, or the Bat Mitzvah. What's this concept of thanking Hashem every single morning? Hashem, thank you for you didn't create me a man. Hashem, thank you that you didn't create me a woman. Why is that? The Zohar actually explains that you thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu every day, that He brought you down a neshama that comes from Zachar, not from Nekeva. That He brought you down and He gave you a piece of your neshama that belongs, whether if you're a male piece, or whether if you're a female piece. And the Zohar even says what happens to people, chas v'shalom, if they get the wrong half. It's something amazing. It shows you what the Zohar said, that at the end of days you're going to have bilbul. You're going to have confusion in the world, but not only confusion of people, confusion of you see that the world today is completely confused. You see that it's not just confused with politics, but confused even with neshamot, and that's the concept of the zivugim, where it says that if a female neshama from nukva, I don't know why I'm saying this, but even if a female neshama from nukva comes to a man, what does the Zohar Kadosh say? The Zohar Kadosh says that he's going to speak like a woman. He's going to talk like, he's going to walk like a woman. He's going to move. The Zohar says move his hands like a woman, which is something that is so most probably the pipelines up there in Hollywood are messed up. So they're sending the wrong half the neshama to the wrong. It's just something amazing to add into how HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how the Zohar Kadosh especially has real explanations for every single thing, but 2,500 years before. Amazing. So each neshama, female, comes from nukva, a female source, zeir anpin, a male source. Knowing that the neshama come from two different places, they also have two different what? Two different tikkunim, two different reparations, two different jobs, two different things that they have to focus on and to repair and to build. What does a neshama have to get to? So each one needs to move from the nukva or from zeir anpin to a different place in Shamayim. They have to connect themselves to a sephirah. How does one connect themselves to a sephirah? They connect themselves to a sephirah, repairing what a woman needs to repair and repairing what a man needs to repair. So the moment that a man repairs what he needs to repair, he moves himself from zeir anpin and connects himself to what? To the yesod. That a complete man is a man that is dabuk, that is stuck one with the yesod. A man that already becomes one with the yesod is considered a man that repaired all what a man needs to repair. For female, for a woman, she needs to take her neshama from nukva, where it says that nukva has a lot of judgment, a lot of heaviness, and move it to where? To the malchut. Where a lady needs to put herself into kingdomship to the sephirah of malchut. Two different places, two different sephirot that they need to move each other. So the key to the first gate is what? Yesod in malchut. What does that teach us? It teaches us about something simple. The gate for one to open all his desires and to get himself starting to climb in a place where he can bring down beracha, mamash, knowing where he brings down the beracha, he must repair female, the things that have to do with female, and male, the things that have to do with male. A lot of Rabbanim, they start with the men. Today I'm going to start with the women. I'm going to start speaking about what is that reparation of the woman comparing to the men, and we'll go to the men afterwards. Be'ezrat Hashem. So we know about what the Zohar Kadosh says. There's a tikkun of a woman to move herself from nukva into the yesod and to open that first gate. Because like we said, into the malchut, in order to open that first gate, a lady must enter into the malchut. The key to that is what? No? Tzniut. What is tzniut? Modesty. That modesty is the key of opening the gate of All prayers for any woman that wants to pray, that wants, whoever wishes to come to an accomplishment. The Zohar Kadosh says, there is no mitzvah that Hashem loves more than tzeniut. That the biggest mitzvah that a woman can do is dressing modestly. Why is that? Why dressing with tzeniut is the biggest mitzvah that one can do? The concept is simple. It's the biggest mitzvah that one can do because what are women called? Bnot Melech. The daughters of a queen, of a king. That Bnot Israel, the Jewish women of the Jewish nation, the daughters of Bnei Israel, are actually have that title of princesses. That in order for one to be under that title of princess, of the daughter of the king, what must she do? She must represent herself like the daughter of a king. What's amazing, if anyone ever wants to take tzniut classes, it's very simple. Go to the Queen of England. If you go to the Queen of England, which she is essentially what? She's a true royalty, a true daughter of a king. If you look at the way she dresses, you'll see that she, mamash, it's like she has the Shulchan Aruch of tzniut. It's like she sat down with a Shulchan Aruch of tzniut and she, from here to here, from here to here, every single detail she took. Why? Because she's a queen. And if you are a queen, you have to represent yourself like a queen. It's like if I came today now in the shiur and I wear the suit that you swim with. How do you call it? A bathing suit. If I come now with a bathing suit, what are everyone going to say? Rabbi Pinto is not a Rav anymore. He left. He's not a Rav anymore. So the same thing applies to a daughter of a queen, a daughter of a king. That when is one recognized as a daughter of the king? When she's dressed like a daughter of a queen. But the moment she's dressed b'tzniut, Hashem looks at her and says, look at my daughter. Look at the way she's dressed. Look how she's praising my name and spreading the love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I'll explain why I'm saying the love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That there is no mitzvah that Hashem loves more. The Zohar Kadosh says, and this I mentioned maybe I think last week or 2 weeks ago, that the moment that a woman is dressed b'tzniut, in that moment, what stand around her?
3 angels.
3 angels that come to stand around the person and to protect that woman. What are those 3 angels' names? Michael, Gabriel, and Nuriel. Nuriel, not Uriel, Nuriel, with a nun in the beginning. What are those 3 angels spell out?
Okay.
They spell out Magen. What is Magen? Shield, protection. The moment a Jewish lady is dressed b'tzniut, she automatically is protected. She automatically has a shield of armor that no one can come to approach her. Why? Because a daughter of a queen is respected like a daughter of a king is respected like a daughter of a king. And that's Rabotai is a simple thing. If a lady wants to have da'acha, she wants to be protected, she wants to truly get her prayers, have a place in Shamayim, where Zohar Kadosh says, where you are nikar in Olam HaElyon. What does nikar mean? Nikar, Rabbi Dolem? Nikar. Noticed. Noticed. Rabbi Dolem, put it פה, ככה I can... איך הוא ניכר? Notice, seen. Notice, seen, like we said, both. We can use both. So in any case, in order for a woman to be, her prayers to be noticed up there in Shamayim, and to have that protection of Olamot HaElyonim, the way is tzniut. You know the beautiful story that is personal. It's not a story that I'm going to tell you that's 300 years ago of a man that has no source and has no place where it comes from. It is a story that I think I mentioned also recently. A story of I met the person who spoke about the story and saw this miracle in his eyes. That is actually one of the head chiefs, it's like we call it the CEO, of one of the hospitals in Eretz Yisrael. That he's a very close friend of family to us, and he told me the story on a personal level, from its source. It said that in Ashdod or Ashkelon, one of the two cities, I don't remember, there was a Rav. I'll tell you the story is a scary story, a beautiful story. There was a Rav that he had many kids. And one of his daughters that he had, unfortunately, had some friends that didn't have the best interest of her. And her friends were trying to bring bad influence upon her. So this young girl, this daughter of this Rav, grew up, And she ended up, chasvesh miskena, losing her path and going on her own path. Where she left her parents' home, she didn't keep Shabbat. She created for herself her own life with her own path. Unfortunately, and it's sad, a lot of the times the people that are most close to the Torah, when they leave, it's like they binge. So she didn't want to hear about anything about the religion. Talk to her Torah, mitzvot, she said, I don't want to hear. Push it away. Her father was the biggest enemy you can think of. Why? She had an anger. Miskinim. Sometimes, the schooling is not good in every system, and it's a big problem. It's nefashot. So she went on her own path. She moved into an apartment of a group of friends, a few men, and she lived her life in her own new life. One day, one of her roommates came to her. He told her, he said, let's open up a business together. So he said, I want to open up a little 24 hours makolet. Makolet is like a small supermarket where we're going to sell the cigarettes, Coca-Cola, ice. I know, how it is in Eretz Israel. There is a little makolet in every corner. Let's open up a makolet, but a 24-hour makolet. And me and you will split the time and we'll also split the profit. So this daughter of the Rav said, what's a good idea? I'm your partner. So they took a small place, built a little makolet, and they started working business. One night, she took the night shift. So because it was 24 hours, he would do sometime the night, or she would do the night, and like that they split the time. So it fell that she, one day, had to do the night shift. So she's sitting down, 3 o'clock in the morning, tired. She has no patience for anyone. She's just waiting for the time to pass to go home and to go to sleep. Suddenly, an older 56-year-old religious man comes to her, and he looks at her, and he's buying something. And he says, you look very familiar to me. So she said, okay, what do you want? So she said, who are you? So she said, me, I'm the daughter of this and this Rav. So this man was a very annoying man, not a man that, live and let live, just be khfif. He said, you're the daughter of this Rav, I'm not leaving you alone. And she said, please, go away. It's 3 o'clock in the night. I don't want to hear you bothering me, trying to convince me to do teshuvah. Leave me alone. No, you're the daughter of this Rav, how can you not do teshuvah? You have to go back to the path, imagine your grandparents, you're bothering and annoying her. So he said, you know what? I have a kaletet, a disc, with a disc from one of my cousins, one of the Rabbi Pinto. And it's a disc about tzniut for women. So I'm going to bring you this disc and I want you to listen to it and you're going to do teshuvah. So he said, okay, please go, leave me alone. It's 3 o'clock at night, keep your disc and go home with it. He was annoying and he was tough, he was stubborn. Like we said, the Moroccan stubbornness. So he said, I'm not leaving. I'm here and I'm going to stay here until you finish your shift, till you promise me that you're going to listen to this disc. She said, okay, you can whine as much as you want, I'm not doing it. And my master stood there and bothered her for an hour or two until she said, this person doesn't want to leave. So she looked at him, she said, you know what, give me the disc. I promise I'm going to listen to it, just leave. It's night, I don't want to hear you whining, go. So she took the disc, he was happy, went to his car and he left. She said, Baruch Hashem, wow, this annoying man, I got rid of him. She goes home, she finishes the shift, and she says, she took the disc, put it inside I don't know what you call it, CD player, and she started to listen to it. She said she listened to it one time. After one time listening to the disc, she started to cry and she got so emotional, where she said she stayed up another 6 hours replaying it, and replaying it, and replaying it, and replaying it. Until after 6 hours of listening to the same 45-minute disc, she said, you know what? I'm taking upon myself, or maybe I won't be able to keep all the Torah and mitzvot, but I'm taking upon myself that I'm keeping tzniut. I want to keep this mitzvah tzniut. So she started with tzniut. She started to keep that one mitzvah that was kept very passionately. Slowly by slowly, she started finding herself going to a shiur Torah, visiting her father, trying to get back into the world of keeping Shabbat, coming to Shabbat meal, singing with the family, living back, going back into that beautiful light. And that she teshuvah. After she did teshuvah, she said, you know what? Now that I did teshuvah, I want to get married. I want to build a family. I want to continue on, be'emet, to continue that life to my kids. And I want to be'emet, live that good life. So she went and she got married. They were happy for 2 years. That's always the first year is very easy. The second year becomes already like the 12 years of Gehenna. The 12 years of, you start already the 12 months of cleaning yourself. So after 2 years of being married, one Shabbat, like every couple, they had an argument. So she was in her room. She said, I'm leaving him. Tomorrow, on Sunday, we're going to Beit Din. Like all the couples, when they fight it. Tomorrow, we're going to Beit Din. So she told them, tomorrow, we're going to Beit Din. That's it, finished. And she went to the room. Shabbat, it was quiet. Each one was on one corner of the house. The husband got up and said, you know what? Now I'm not joking. Tomorrow morning, I'm going now to the Rav and already putting now the appointment to divorce you. I want to leave you. I don't want to continue this marriage. In that moment, she had such a thought of confusion. When people are confused, miskinim. She had such a moment of confusion. She opened the door and she was running to the balcony. They lived in an apartment. And while she got to the balcony, she tilted over the ledge and she fell. Now she fell how many flights? 4 flights. Abotai, 4 flights. The husband saw her fall. He ran downstairs. He said, Hashem Yirachem. I didn't mean it. And now she fell from 4 flights. So he ran down screaming, Atzilu, help, 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 help. They ran down. They called the ambulance. They saw her laying down on the ground, not moving. They were scared. The ambulance came. The men started to take her and put her onto the stretcher to bring her into the ambulance. And the first thing that what they have to do is what? What's the first thing every ambulance does? Takes off the clothes to see what happened, if there's any cuts, any bleeding. And all the men, they were trying to start ripping the clothes. And she was pushing them. That even though she fell, she didn't allow anyone to, she was keeping her skirt down. So that's what we do. So the husband said she wants a woman. So they went and they brought a woman. They took her to the hospital. Now this is Abotai, is the CEO, that's how we call it? Yeah. CEO of that hospital. They took her first thing to see, they said no blood. They said sometimes no blood is bad. Because no blood means what? Inside is smushed. So they started taking her to scanning. The man tells me himself, we went from one CAT scan, we brought her in, we saw everything was intact, we said something wrong with this CAT scan. Took her to another scanning machine. Took her to another scanning machine, they start to scan, they say something is wrong. According to these scans, it is all clean. Like nothing, like not even one break, not even one chip on her body. So inside the hospital, it was this creepy story that he told me as the manager of what happened to this girl. Falling from 4 flights and nothing happened to her. So after an entire day of going from one office to the other, from one office to the other, none of the doctors believing that everything is okay, they got up and they said, truly a miracle came. So they waited for her to wake up in order to ask her if she's okay, what happened. So when she woke up, she said, you know, while I was falling, something indescribable happened to me. She said, while I was falling, I felt as if there was hands pulling me and not allowing me to fall. That while I was going down, I was not really falling. And the reality is that what? That her body was completely stayed intact. Now, Botai, this is not a story from 200 years ago. This is a story from the mouth of the manager, and actually the manager of this hospital, Rabbi Malko, where is he? He was here 3 months ago. He was here last Sunday 3 months ago, and he did Shabbat with us. So, Be'emet, it's not a story that is out of this world, and it's a man that is very, very miyushav, very, very sat down, square thinking. He came to speak at a convention of other doctors. You can imagine how smart he is. Really, not an imaginary man. You see, Abotai, what a protection that a lady could achieve just by dressing with tzniut and showing the world and being proud of who she is as a princess, as a daughter of a king. That as a daughter of a king, when she dresses with tzniut, she shows the world in it. I am proud who I am, and I'm going to represent who I am. You know, there's a story that I heard from Mutzafi, that my Chavut heard it mamash personally, that it teaches you how a woman can get to heights of complete tzaddikim that are unimaginable tzaddikim just from keeping this mitzvah of tzniut. The story goes by the father of Rabbi Mutzafi that lived at that time in Iraq. And we all know that before there was the Aliyah, there were Jews everywhere. מה? צדיק שלי, רבי דולב. אני אחזור על זה שאתה צדיק עד שאתה לא תודה בעצמך שאתה צדיק, בעזרת השם. אז בכל מצב, in any case, the father of Rabbi Mutzafi, we lived in Iraq. He said that in the city, there was a man, his job was Chavat Kadisha. Well, his job was to bury all the people that were niftarim. So there was a big cemetery that had occupied space and not occupied space. So he actually controlled that cemetery for 20, 30 years. His entire life, he managed that job of Chavat Kadisha. One day, he started to dig a grave, miskena, for somebody that passed away. And suddenly, while he's digging, he finds that he sees a piece of cloth that is coming out from the place that he's digging. So he starts to pull, and he sees it doesn't come out. So he digs, and he digs, and he digs, and he digs, and he digs. And what does he find there? He finds that there was a person that is buried. But not just a person, an older lady. Now he's looking. He says, I managed the cemetery for 20 years. I know if a place was dug, if this lady is put here, it means that she was buried way before I was managing this cemetery. So maybe it was 30, 40 years. But what shocked them was that her body was what? Was complete intact. That her body looked like she was positioned in a place where she passed away yesterday. Everyone was shocked. When he saw, he said, the fact that her body is complete, it means this lady was a big tzadikah. So right away he covered her and he bought a matzeva. He ordered a plaque to put a matzeva. It's an unknown woman, but still, 40 years, we know what we said at the tzadikim, their body stayed whole. And at night he went to sleep. He says that in the morning, when he woke up, he had a dream that night. Who appeared to him in the dream? That woman. And he witnesses and he says that when he was dreaming, that woman came not talking to him. She came screaming at him. Where it was a scream that truly scared him. And what did she say? She said, my entire life, I kept myself b'tzniut, and I never allowed myself to be in a position where I'm undressed. And you came, chutzpan, opened my grave, and made me not b'tzniut. So she told him, because of this sin, I'm ordering them up here to bring you up today. And he said that when he woke up, he told that family that, he got dressed in white clothing and he passed away that day. To teach you the koach, the power, in the merit that a woman has when she is dressed b'tzniut. That when a woman is dressed b'tzniut, she can reach to levels of tzidkut that are above even tzadikim. We say in the Gemara that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Yetzer Hara, he created tavlin kenegdo. What does that mean? When Hashem created evil inclination, he created a tavlin. What a tavlin? It's like a spice to fight Yetzer Hara. What is that spice? That spice, that cure for the Yetzer Hara was limud Torah. Was one that goes and studies Torah. The Zohar Kadosh asks. The Zohar says, I don't understand. Limud Torah is a mitzvah that is applicable for who? For men. But what about women? What is the spice to destroy Yetzer Hara? What is the way that a person can kill his evil inclination and purify himself from all bad? The Zohar Kadosh answers one thing. Tzniut. That the tzniut is the biggest mitzvah that a woman can possibly keep. When a woman is dressed modestly, there is no bigger mitzvah that one can do. The Zohar Kadosh says that when a woman is dressed modestly, that house is considered that it has inside that house a mizbech. מה זה מזבח באנגלית? Huh? Shrine? Altar. But a woman that is dressed b'tzniut in her home, it is like there is an altar placed in that house. Why altar? Why mizbeach? The Zohar Kadosh says, the same way that the mizbeach, mechaper, the same way that the mizbeach repairs a person's sins and repairs all the bad and cleans out all the bad that exists in a person, in that same very way, when a woman is just b'tzniut, she cleans all the bad that exists in the house. Where she can bring a person to a point where all the sins are forgiven, all the bad is pushed away, and only happiness, only blessing can dwell in a home. We see Abotai, what a big merit it is that a woman gets some bedas b'tzniut. Now you know Abotai, the mitzvah tzniut is a mitzvah that is not easy. You know, one time I had a woman that came to see me, and I always laugh about this story. It was right in the end of the summer, in the beginning of the winter, the end of the winter, the beginning of the summer. So she came to me and she said, Rav, in the beginning of the winter, I took upon myself, I'm going to keep it tzniut. And I kept for 6 months tzniut. But now that the summer is coming, I don't know if I can keep tzniut. So I said, why? She said, because it's hot. So I said, so you chose for the winter to keep tzniut when it was cold, and in the summer. So keeping tzniut, Rabotai, is not a mitzvah that you could even think of saying that it's a simple mitzvah that anyone can get up and to do. And tzniut, Rabotai, is not just applicable for women. It's also even applicable for men. Where Zohar Kadosh says that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu was creating man, every organ that he created, he told the organ, act with modesty. That even for men, we have this concept of being mitzvah. Don't think now, because you're a man, you can dress the way you want and act the way you want. Tzniut is also a way of acting. So the tzniut, even though it is a hard mitzvah, it is a mitzvah that is challenge, it also is mitzvah where we stand and we show who we are as people. And it is a mitzvah that a lady, a woman, can come to a point of opening that gate of Levinet Zafir and entering her prayers and entering all what her heart wishes into the higher world. Because that, Abotai, is the key. You know, there's a Gemara that says, Haba lita'er, Rabbi Zohar, Haba lita'er, mesa'in oto. What does that mean? A man that comes to purify himself, what do? Mesa'in lo. They help him to purify himself. They help him to likadesh. They help him to go on that path of Torah and mitzvot. I always thought and asked, what is this concept of mesa'in? Mesa'in is belashon rabim, meaning multiple. But it's not that if you go on the path of Hashem, Hashem will help you. If you go on the path of Hashem, they will help you. Who is this they? Who is this second person that is referred to? Zohar Kadosh Parasha Toldot, page Kuf Mem Gimel, says something amazing. It says every single person that comes into the world, Hashem sends with him 2 soldiers to guide him in his spiritual journey. Now these 2 soldiers are what? They're 2 angels. One angel is called Yetzer Hatov. Why negative? We're starting with Hatov. And the second angel is called what? Yetzer Hara. It's the 2 inclinations that a person has. Those 2 angels, throughout a person's entire life, fights with him. You come right. No, you come left. And they both fight, even amongst each other, who's going to have influence upon this person. So the good man, the good angel says, let's go to the Bet Midrash, or let's go do chesed, let's go build boxes for people that are poor, let's go help a friend, let's go help an older person, let's be happy, let's be positive, let's take away anger. And the evil angel says what? No. Be sad. Don't have confidence. Stay home. Don't work. Don't start something big because you're going to fail. And he tries to put his influence of bad. The Zohar says that if the good angel wins, what happened in that moment? The moment that a person takes upon himself, you know what? I'm going to start putting tefillin every Sunday. Or I'm going to start, you know what? I'm going to start on Shabbat when I go to shul, I'm going to dress b'tzniut. Or whenever I go to Kiddush on Friday night, I'm going to wear something modest. The moment that a person takes upon himself that mitzvah, even before he did that mitzvah, what happens? The good angel suddenly becomes bigger. where it's like you pump food into the good angel, it becomes suddenly stronger, full of energy. The moment the good angel is stronger than the bad angel, what happens in that moment? In that very second, the bad angel, what is he forced to do? It's like if there's a big guy that tells you to do something, what are you going to do?
Do it.
You're going to do it. You're going to be afraid for him to forcefully do it by force. So you're going to do it. The moment a person takes upon himself to do good, even his bad side, the side that wants to pull him down, has no choice but to comply and to help one get to his positive good goal. And that is the concept of Messiah-in-law. That they help him. That by starting good, even with the smallest amount of good one takes upon himself, he opens up the gate to have help from a higher place. And that is mamash visible when we look at this concept of the 7 gates. The moment a person wins in the first level, opens up the first gate, what happens in that very moment? In that place, he already enters into a place where naturally he will grow from one place to the other. That first obstacle is the hardest one to pass. But once one passes that first obstacle, the growth of positivity, of happiness, of kedusha, of light is already natural. It already comes on its own. And that's what we say. The reward of a mitzvah is what? Is a mitzvah. That once that a person starts to take upon himself good, Hashem puts him in the position where he continues in that good path. So, Rabbi, for all the women, it's a matter of taking upon ourselves even the smallest thing. It could be like we said on Shabbat, to start dressing a little modest, it could be anything. But when we show HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we are proud to be who we are as sons and daughters of the King, our Father, the King, will be able to give us big shefa.
You told me not to stress you out anymore, so I don't.
No, I thought you would tell me.
45 minutes.
One more.
30 seconds.
So for then I'm going to be very, very
Direct.
straightforward, and next week we're going to finish the subject. You want panasa? You want atzlacha? You want to grow with everything you want? You want to be positive? You want to be happy? Very simple. You keep your side. The woman will work on their side of being mitzniut, and you men need to work on your side of what? Shemirat habrit, the protecting of the brit. The Zohar says that there is no bigger mitzvah that exists for a man. There's no better way for a man to grow with if it's anything in the world, like the Shemirat habrit. There are many examples I can give that are mentioned in the Zohar. Next week I will give with Yosef, with Moshe, with David, with Noach, with all the sages we know so easy in our mouth, that got to the heights of where they got to for one reason. They got to where they got to because they protected the brit of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Where Rabbi Nachman actually says something amazing. This applies also for the woman. It says both of the aspects of the brit, man and female. For female it's tzniut. For man it's keeping the eyes. It's actually making sure that they stay away from their berit and they don't touch it. Both of those aspects come from one source. And if you think about it, it is exact on point. Rabbi Nachman said it comes from sadness. That if a person looks into it and sees any moment, if it's for a woman that decided, you know what, I want to be dressed not b'tzniut, or a man that said, I want to go sin with my berit, it's not from a happy place. It comes from what? It comes from a sad place, from a dark place. That for a man, it comes from a man that had a bad day, that he goes and he sins. Think. Or it's for a woman that doesn't feel good in herself. So in order to make herself feel good, she feels that she has to do that. That both of these aspects, the cause of falling is it's pulling our morale down, making us sad. So if we're able to overcome that place of sadness, we know that it doesn't exist. One more thing, and here I finish, and we go straight to question. The next week we're going to continue for the men, because I have to hit the men very, very hard. Be'ezrat Hashem. And that is a beautiful thing, a beautiful chidush that I had with Arizal. You know about I said about Arizal, that one day he was sitting down with the students, and he asked a question about the Midrash, about Moshe Rabbeinu. This I want the Kal to answer. So it says that when Moshe Rabbeinu was talking to Hashem, This is the Midrash. While Hashem was face to face with Moshe, a snake came. And the snake started to move its way towards Moshe Rabbeinu. When Moshe Rabbeinu sees a snake, this is now Arizal teaching his students. What does Moshe do? Gets up, leaves the conversation with Hashem, and runs away. And the snake is chasing him and he's running away. Arizal asks the student, he says, I don't understand. My friend Rabbi Yosef Karo, in the Shulchan Aruch, wrote that even if a person has a snake around his neck and he's praying Shmonayis, so he's doing Amidah, could he move or not? He can't move. What Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know, that he's talking to Hashem face to face and a snake comes, so he runs away. Where was his emunah here? Where was his faith that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, while he's talking to Hashem, Hashem won't protect him? Why is it Moshe ran away? So when Arizal asked this question, it said that all the students tried to get the answer, but Arizal said, if I answer it, I'm going to have to die. So I can't answer the secret. I can't teach you the secret for this, to tell you to reveal you the secret. So the students got up, and this was most probably Rabbi Chaim Vital, my great grandfather. You see already the sparks of Rabbi Pinto. So if you're going to die from it, then die for it, but tell us a secret. And it said that Arizal told them the secret and died that day. And that is how Arizal passed away. Big Arizal, the lion that we call Ari, or the lion of the Torah, died from what? Died from saying a secret that he said he was not supposed to tell. So why did Moshe run away? How about the answer? So one of the explanations of Ramchal says it was the actual snake, it was the first snake, it was the Nachash HaKadmu. At the moment the snake saw, which apparently that snake was still alive, that he saw that Moshe Rabbeinu was talking to Hashem and redemption is about to come, he wanted to try to attack Moshe. That's an explanation of Ramchal. But that's not the answer that I want to answer. No. No. No, Abimako.
Temptation.
Temptation.
It represents temptation, so maybe you didn't want to be tempted. Yeah, tempted, you don't want to take a chance to be tempted. By the snake doing an Avera in front of Hashem, I don't know.
But Avera was talking to Hashem.
Maybe about thoughts, maybe I don't know.
Maybe. It's a good explanation. No. Tzadikim. No, that's it. Nobody has any explanation. So there's another explanation that I'm going to give, my personal explanation. I'm going to give next week. But I'm going to connect to a Zohar that I saw that is actually in this Parasha. Now, you know, Rabbi, it's amazing. I wanted to mention this in the beginning. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way he organizes things, it's incredible. Last week I wanted to give this shiur, and the truth is I wanted to do the men first. And it's the whole shiur was supposed to be about the Berit. Amazingly, the whole teaching of the Berit falls in what parasha? Lech Lecha. And we pushed it. I pushed this shiur to the next week, and this week we're speaking about it. So what did the answer? No. Why you ran from the snake? So the Zohar Kadosh answers something amazing. He says something simple. He said, while Moshe Rabbeinu was talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what was Hashem telling him? Hashem was telling him, go, bring Bnei Yisrael out of Egypt and you will be the king. You will lead them out of redemption. Moshe Rabbeinu argued with Hashem, but after he argued with Hashem, he agreed. He took upon himself, I'm going to go and I'm going to redeem Bnei Yisrael from Egypt. This was before he saw that Paro was a tough Egyptian. In that moment, Zohar Kadosh says, the angel Gabriel got upset. Gabriel says, how can you, Moshe Chutzpan, talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu about saving Bnei Yisrael when your own son doesn't even have Brit Milah? So it says that the angel Gabriel came down Mishamayim and took a form of a snake and wanted to chase Moshe Rabbeinu to kill him for even thinking that he will reach to great heights when his son is not keeping the Berit. So what happened? Zohar Kadosh Michael came to Moshe and told Moshe, go do Brit Milah to your son fast before Gabriel comes to catch you. So Moshe Rabbeinu ran away to do milah to his son, in order to bring that protection, in order to bring that shemira upon him and upon his family. So you see what's the importance of a woman keeping tzniut and a man keeping the brit. So may the merit of that, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'ezrat Hashem give all of us big beracha and tzlacha. May He open our hearts to a place that we will all find the inspiration in ourselves to keep those two mitzvot and to open that first gate of Levenet Safir in order, Be'ezrat Hashem, that we will bring upon ourselves big beracha and happiness upon our lives. Amen. Questions?
You know when you said that when you take upon yourself that you want to do mitzvah, the Yetzer Tov becomes bigger and the Yetzer becomes smaller, and he helps him. So why when somebody wants to do something, that's like the most temptations there. The most temptations, like when somebody starts something, it's like it's very tempting to like actually keep it. Like once you already started and stuff.
Look, first of all, you always have a second of inspiration, but you can't also expect that the Yetzer Tov, your good inclination, would always stand and be strong. If it's like that, you do your first. If you do a sin before you do a mitzvah, you're gone.
Yeah.
If it was in that case. So the concept is that a person always needs to keep that balance and always to keep himself in the pure side. And if a person can sit down, this is what I meant when I said if you take step by step and you follow one step at a time, you'll see that everything gets solved. If a person will be able to achieve this one mitzvah, whether if it's tzniut for women or shmirat habrit for men, you'll see that in that moment, if he keeps that first one, he breaks the Yetzer Hara forever. If he's able to really hold on to that mitzvah. Because in those two places, it's the beginning, it's the start. It's the gate to everything. It's the gate to all the blessing. It's the gate to our connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If one can keep that, everything, if it's from a positivity side, if it's from a discipline side, if it's a side from Kedusha, if it's a perspective of breaking of Yetzer Hara, it will all come. And really think about it.
Sure.
I want a person to picture his life in a situation where he either keeps Shemirat Habit 100% or keeps Tzniut 100%. If you put yourself in that position, that you walk in the street and you're with Tzniut, or you walk in the street, and especially for men, because men, the concept of Berit is something that it affects their entire life, their entire day. When a man falls in the Berit, his entire day is eaten by that thought, is eaten by that temptation. If he can overcome that, he succeeded. He's high. Yetzer Hara is too far behind to catch up. And that is the concept. Know the steps, know the order, take care of the first one and they will all come. And that is the concept. So always there is the first gate. For men it's Berit, for women it is Tzniut. Picture the thought. Put yourself in that position. We're able to destroy that aspect of Yetzer Hara. It's even said that where is the sitting of Yetzer Hara? The home in a man's body of the Yetzer Hara is in the Berit. That is the core. That is the home. It's even said that for 2 years in Bet HaMikdash they were able to lock out Yetzer Hara. Where they put Yetzer Hara in a metal cage. I think I mentioned that. They put him in a metal cage. It said for those 2 years that he was locked up, even a chicken didn't lay an egg. That Yetzer Hara's place is in those two aspects. One can accomplish that, he has everything in sense. Ken Rabbi Maurice.
Thank you. At what age is it a female's responsibility to, what age does it start where she has to keep tzniut?
Look, tzniut essentially is the age of 12.
Starting from 12 years.
The moment she becomes a woman, same way like a man becomes a man, or a man becomes a man, that's it, there's no difference. Once she becomes a woman, it applies on her the concept of being dressed like a princess.